Now, when is a Sherlock Holmes story the real deal? Elementary, my dear Watson. It's when it's written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And if you're a fan who thought you'd read every single one of his Sherlock Holmes tales, think again. A new short story has just come to light, written by Conan Doyle in 1904, to help raise money to replace a bridge which had been destroyed by floods in the Scottish town of Selkirk. It's called Sherlock Holmes, Discovering the Border Burghs, and by deduction, the Brig Bazaar, and is quite short, a light-hearted reminder of the detective's famous talent for deduction. Here's a taste of Holmes explaining to Watson why he knew Watson was planning a trip to Scotland.
Why, when I was retailing you to the steps that led to the arrest of the Norwood builder by the impression of his thumb, I found a very great surprise that you were not listening at all to my reasoning, but were lilting a very sweet tune, Watson. The Flowers of the Forest. Then I in turn consulted an authority on the subject and found that that lovely if tragic song had a special reference to Selkirk. And you remember, Watson, how very enthusiastic you grew all of a sudden on the subject of common ridings, and how much you studied the history of James IV, with special reference to Flodden Field. All these things speak, Watson, to the orderly brain of a thinker. Hoyk, Galashiels, and Selkirk. What did the combination mean? I felt I must solve the problem, Watson. So, that night when you left me, after we had discussed the tragedy of a divided house, I ordered in a ton of tobacco, wrapped my cloak about me, and spent the night in thought. When you came round in the morning, the problem was solved. I could not, on the accumulative evidence, but come to the conclusion that you contemplated another parliamentary contest. Watson, you have the Border Burghs in your eye.
The recognisable talents of Sherlock Holmes in an excerpt read for us by the actor Stephen Critchlow. And as surely befits a Sherlock Holmes story, it came to light in an attic after the pamphlet it was printed in had lain there for some 50 years. Walter Elliot, an 80-year-old local historian of Selkirk and retired woodcutter, came across it under a pile of books. He explained to me how Conan Doyle came to write it.
In 1902, Selkirk was on one side of the river and there's a settlement on the other side, and there's a wooden bridge connecting them. One of the floods took the wooden bridge away. The town council obviously didn't have the money to replace it, so the community decided to have a community bazaar, and they invited the people of the town to donate and do things, and the various friends of the countryside came in. One of the friends was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He had donated a short story about Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
All Sherlock Holmes stories seem to have a mystery at the heart of them. What's the mystery at the heart of this one?
Is deductive reasoning. Holmes and Watson were in London, and Holmes deduced by various things how he knew that Dr. Watson was coming up to the Selkirk Bazaar and to raise money for the bridge. So I think it was one of these stories that Conan Doyle obviously he enjoyed writing. He had a sly sense of humour, and it comes across very well in this. It's only 1,300 words, but it is a very good wee story.
Tell us, Mr. Elliot, about how you came across the copy, because it was in your attic, wasn't it?
It was in my attic. I've always had it, and I always actually knew about the Sherlock Holmes connection with Selkirk and with the Bazaar. Well, when you have knowledge, you think everybody else knows it, and I just thought everybody knew it. And actually, I was aiming the article that the journalist wrote on the bridge, because the bridge that is there now, the one that was built by the Bazaar, is going to be knocked down and replaced with a wooden bridge. So
tell us, how did it come to be in your attic?
I'm a collector, and I have, because I'm interested in being a border, interested in the literature, language, history, archaeology of the borders. And it was one of the things I must have picked up sometime. And it just lay there.
I guess everyone is always interested to have a new glimpse of Sherlock Holmes they haven't seen before. Do you think it'll now reach a wider public?
Well, it's been in New York so far. I keep getting calls from everywhere. And it seems to be, it's hit the Sherlock Holmes story right. This is something new. So it's not new to me. It's never been lost to me. me. I've always known about it. It's just been brought into public domain now.
Walter Elliot.